Well, hello everyone, and this is Peter Brown with a look at your weather for the next 7 days. And if you've been outside the last few days, unfortunately, it's felt much more like late winter and very early spring as opposed to getting into late May, that's for sure. As we're starting at our period on Friday, look at this. You see temperatures only maybe in the mid to upper 50s, so definitely a chilly feeling in the air for this late in May, that's for sure. And that's well below our average high that's supposed to be getting up near 70 at this time of the year, and absolutely nowhere near where our record high of 90. And actually, we were in the 90s, if you remember, a couple of weeks ago, and we're going to be anything but hot in the next 7 days, that's for sure. But of course, as you see right here, getting towards the end of the period, can you believe it? We are already almost into June. And June 1st will actually signal the very first day of astronomical and meteorological summer. So that's really something to look forward to. We have made it to the warm season, that's for sure. So another cold season bites the dust, so to say. But look at that, our average highs warming up should be up into the mid-70s. Going to be a little bit cooler, though, to tell you the truth, as we go into the end of the period than that. But of course, look at this. Look at how long the days are. We've got almost 15 hours of daylight now as we head on towards the beginning of June. As we move ahead, I'm going to show you a little bit about what's going to be going on with our weather for the next 7 days. And this weather map kind of resembles the weather maps that we had a few weeks back, where we had some really cool conditions with showery weather. And we're going to be seeing, going on Friday, some heavy rain moving through the Burlington area. And that's going to kind of deteriorate as we start to get into Saturday, but we have to keep an eye out that, of course, starting the Memorial Day weekend, of course, the last thing we want to deal with is lots and lots of rain. But we may be starting out Saturday morning kind of on the damp side, as we see a couple of these very weak low pressure centers go by the Burlington area and the rest of southern New England. And again, there's going to be actually a fairly decent blocking pattern, very similar to what we talked about a couple of weeks ago over the northern and central Atlantic again. So that's going to kind of keep us locked into a little bit cooler and more unsettled pattern as we head throughout the end of Memorial Day weekend and into the rest of next week, that's for sure. Now, 6 years ago on June 1st, we actually had quite a weather event here in southern New England. As we move ahead, many of you will remember the incredibly strong tornado that passed through Springfield, Massachusetts and made a path of nearly 50 miles long through central Massachusetts. I certainly remember myself getting home from work that day and seeing these incredibly huge thunderstorms on television. And as you remember, this tornado in Springfield did about $140 million worth of damage, and unfortunately cost the lives of 3 residents out in western Massachusetts. So that certainly was a date we would certainly forget, but one we definitely will never forget, and one that we really don't want to have to remember too much. But just a reminder that we can get some very, very powerful tornadoes, even here in the New England area. And as a matter of fact, this tornado was actually rated an EF3, so very powerful storm, winds over 150 miles an hour with that storm. So that was something else, but we're not going to have to worry about any tornadoes in the next 7 days, that's for sure. And as we move ahead, I'm going to show you a little bit about what our weather's going to look like and our temperatures. Now, look at the map, and unfortunately, like we said, getting towards the end of May and getting into June, Friday, we're going to see that heavy rain and those chilly temperatures with a persistent easterly wind. So it's going to feel very raw out there if you have to be outside anywhere on Friday. Now, starting out your Memorial Day weekend on Saturday, Saturday looks like it's going to be the absolute pick of the days. Temperatures in the upper 60s to near 70 maybe, so we're hopeful we might get up there. But as we get into Sunday and Monday, and I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, we introduced the chance of maybe some spotty showers, and the showers may be a little bit heavier actually on Memorial Day than what we're illustrating here. We may actually have a more steady soaking rain on Monday. So we're going to have to keep that in the back of our minds if you have any plans, barbecues, fireworks, anything like that. And of course, as we get towards the end of the period, really more of the same here for the Burlington area. Temperatures will moderate a little bit, up near 70, but it looks like we're going to keep the chance of that unsettled weather and chance of showers almost every day for the next 7 days. So folks, I hope you get out there and you get a chance to hopefully enjoy the weather, and I hope you have a very happy Memorial Day weekend. Have a great week.